Today is Monday, August 10th, 2026, and I am here with Benjamin, and we want to say thank you for joining us. Before we begin the conclusion, Benjamin has a message to share with the listeners.
My life has taught me that whatever I learn to a depth where I can teach it to the next person. For the person searching for the light, the one who feels overwhelmed in their environment or controlled by their emotions. I created a self-healing workbook from my process of healing myself. Something you can use with nothing but the feelings in your body and a journal, or the Notes app on your phone. Stay tuned for its release. Conclusion. What follows are the overarching lessons the past 9 years have taught me. A disorder may disguise itself as a virtue. From the outside, fasting every day looks like a healthy thing to do. Discipline, taking care of the body, that is what made it so hard to see. I was not fasting for my health. I was fasting for control. After the stroke took control of the right side of my body, my mind, my emotions, something had to be controlled. The fasting gave me that. It wore the mask of health, but underneath it was a part of me trying to hold on to the one thing it could exert control over. It does not always look like fasting. For someone else, it is the personality that everyone praises, the one who cares too much, the one who protects everyone, the one who gives and gives, or the opposite, the one who needs nothing, who lets nothing in. From the outside, a virtue, underneath, a part protecting a younger version of you who once could not care, could not protect, could not give, or was hurt for needing anything at all. What takes over you is a signal, not your enemy. Ed was a hurt child. For years I tried to repress him with different masks. One external identity after another, anything other than what he actually was. All he needed was for me to turn toward him with curiosity, love, and acceptance. Instead, I suppressed him, I repressed him, I treated the part of me that was hurting as the thing to get rid of. So he did the only thing he could do to get my attention. He took control of the body and the mind, sometimes through binging and purging, sometimes through aggressive fasting, the days of no food that looked like discipline and were really just Ed in the other direction. Both were the same part, taking control again and again, until I would finally listen. You cannot outrun your internal environment. Once I get to this place, I will feel different. Once I reach this milestone in my career, I will feel different. Once I get into this school, once I win this award, once. It is a lie the mind tells in every direction. The new location, the new job title, the acceptance letter, the recognition, none of them touch what is actually running inside you. You arrive in the new place and the internal environment is already there waiting because it traveled with you. Chiang Mai was supposed to be the alignment of body, mind, and spirit. That was the vision. What I did not account for was the mental pillar, my internal environment, my internal architecture. The first couple of months I outran it, Muay Thai through the day, distraction at night. It worked for a while. But slowly and surely the internal environment caught up and took control again. I was back in the cycle, substance abuse, aggressive fasting until I binged and purged. I learned there was no outrunning it. The trend matters more than the day. Every time I purged, my brain went straight to day zero. All the progress I had made was gone, back at the very bottom of the mountain with the whole climb ahead of me. It was a lie. I was already on the climb. One day did not erase that, but the disorder needs you to believe it did, because day zero thinking is what keeps you in the cycle. The morning after a binge, my brain would tell me I had to fast all day, no food until the afternoon. That is not recovery, that is the cycle protecting itself, wearing the mask of discipline. What breaks it is awareness. A physical action repeated enough times builds a habitual thought cycle. The bulimia had been training the fast the next day thought for years. Once I could see it as a cycle, the body had learned instead of as truth. I no longer had to obey it. The mind was running an old program. I began to listen to my body instead and learned to tell the difference between my body's signals and Ed telling me to binge or fast. Hope is what turns a fall into a lesson. It is in failing that we learn. Every fall in this story taught me something I could not have learned standing up, but a fall only becomes a lesson if you keep one thing alive: hope, the belief that you can still get better. Every night I went to sleep, I held on to it. The days I stayed clean and the days the binging and purging took over. The days I beat substances and the days I didn't. Every one of those nights I went to sleep, hoping that tomorrow I would learn from it, that tomorrow I would make the change and not fall into the same pattern the next day. Some days I did, some I didn't, but the hope is what kept the falling from becoming the end. Failure is only failure if you let it become your permanent state. If not, it is a lesson on the path to getting better. Awareness is the beginning. Acceptance is the middle. Integration is the end. With the substances, awareness came quickly. They were a surface layer. I could see them for what they were. With Ed, awareness took years. He began to surface at the beginning of 2019, disguised as something healthy: fasting, disciplines, taking care of myself, the health and wellness identity. In the fall of 2019, the disguise broke into a binge, but I did not become fully aware that Ed was the one driving the binging, the purging, the aggressive fasting until the spring of 2025. 6 years to see clearly what was running me. Acceptance started on the drive back from South Carolina in August of 2025. Turning toward him instead of away, and acceptance was not a moment. It was a process, 6 months of rebuilding his trust, letting him speak when he needed to speak before he had to take over to be heard. Integration is where Ed and I are now. I am not there yet. I still slip, I still fall. But every time I grow the skill of listening to him, every time the trust grows, integration moves a little closer to completion. This book was an act of integration, a way to keep integrating Ed into my conscious mind. It was driven by the alignment of mind, body, and spirit, and I could not have written it alone. Ed gave his truth. The present self gave it shape. Every chapter was the two of us working together. The writing required both of us. That is how I know the integration is real. Not finished, but real. I want to be honest about my position. I was privileged. I had a support structure around me. I had resources, and I had the time to fully embody the process I had to go through to heal. Not everyone has that. The support, the resources, the freedom to dedicate their waking hours to the practice of healing. But what I learned through this process is that what actually healed me was free, to sit with the feeling instead of running from it, to turn toward my parts with curiosity instead of suppressing them. The rock by the pond in Colorado where I first learned to just be, 1 minute at a time. The journal I kept every morning through today where Ed finally began to trust and speak with me. The one breath any of us can find in a day just to be. None of that cost anything. That is all that is required of you. One breath to turn toward what you have been running from, wherever you are, whatever you are going through. Because what matters is not what you have or don't have, it is your intention. Ed and I made this for you. If you are inside the cycle right now, at war with a part of yourself, told to just stop and unable to, this was written for you. I do not have a finish line to show you. I have a trend. I have hope. I have a part of me I stopped fighting and started loving. You are not broken. There is a part of you in pain, doing the only thing it knows how to do to survive. Turn toward it and learn to love it. Resources. If you are struggling with an eating disorder, you do not have to do it alone, and you do not have to be in crisis to reach out. National Alliance for Eating Disorders Helpline. Call 866-666-21235. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. They provide referrals to every level of care. AllianceForEatingDisorders.com. ANAD, National Association of Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders Helpline. Call 888-237-5-7767, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. For free 24/7 support, text Alliance to 741741. If you are in crisis or thinking about harming yourself, call or text 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline anytime, day or night. If you are in immediate danger, call 911 or go to your nearest emergency room.